Hello, this is Dan the Furniture Repairman. Today we're going to show you a quick fix. This is a part on a chair that's just loose. It's come out. The glue's probably failed there, and you can see it's moving there. But rather than take the whole chair apart because all those spindles, we're going to show you how to inject some glue into the area. Now, Jose is just going to drill some holes into the cavity where basically the tenon goes. You can see he's drilling through the chair part on an angle, and then when he feels it punch through, then he's going to stop drilling. So different heights we're aiming for. So one a little high, one a little low. And then what we're going to do is get some epoxy in a syringe and shoot it in. And we're going to do this on the top and the bottom. And you can see he's a little farther away here, so he gets in a little bit deeper there. And we'll do 3 or 4 holes, not a lot, not difficult at all. And this will work as long as the spindle isn't broken. If the spindle's broken, you have to fix the spindle. Now this is just loose. So what we got to do is just keep it from coming out. Now a lot of times a loose spindle will break because it's not secured to the wood, and it'll bend back or it'll partly pull out. We're going to use our System 3 Quick Cure epoxy, but you could use any epoxy you like. Just read the manufacturer's specs and work with it. Now he's mixed it up, and this is just a glue needle, and we're going to put a little bit of a link where to get these in the description below so you can look at them, but you can pick them up online, no problem. The difference is the end isn't sharp. It's a dull needle on the end. You couldn't poke yourself with it. And right now he is just injecting some epoxy into those holes. Now we use epoxy, not yellow glue. It may work with yellow glue, but epoxy has gap strength, which is very important. Plus, I feel it tends to harden because it is a 2-part mix, so it'll dry much quicker, and it will dry in about 15 minutes. But overnight, it dries very strong, and in a day or two, it's a very well cured product, and it'll keep that piece from moving around. And if there's any gaps in there, it'll fill them in, and that's where you want your epoxy because it has gap strength. Now what he's going to do is wiggle this, and it's going to pull the epoxy in. It's actually going to work like a little bit of a pump there, and it's going to kind of pull it in, and we're trying to get that epoxy inside of that cavity so that it kind of seeps around and moves around in there. And now he's going to put a little bit right on the edge right there because there is a little bit of a gap. Now it's very hard for us to get anything in there because it's such a tiny gap, but we can get a little bit to kind of sink in there, and as we rock the chair, we'll get it in there. Now this will work if you have basically like a mortise and a tenon, where you have one part of the chair going in. It'll work on a leg if it's not broken, but you got to be very careful, and you really got to know what you're doing. This backrest here, it's not like the whole chair is going to fall down if it cracks. The reason why we went this route is you see all those spindles in the back. They're still glued in there very well. To take this off, we'd have to get all of them out. And then there's a good chance that they'll break coming out. Now, here we come back. A little bit of denatured alcohol. We're just cleaning up. Now, you can clean up afterwards, and we usually end up cleaning up afterwards also. But what we like to do is try to clean up as much as possible while the epoxy is wet. Now, we let it dry for about a half hour. We flip the chair over. Now, this is where the spindle comes in from the bottom. And we're going to drill rather than from the chair in, we're going to drill right alongside of the spindle right there. So we're going to kind of create a groove between the spindle that's coming through the chair and the chair. And then this is a spindle that has a wedge in it. So you have to look at the wedge and see if the wedge is loose. Sometimes you drill alongside the wedge and you add some epoxy into the wedge area also to kind of fill up that area. And we did about 4 holes, and here he goes. He's injecting it in, and you can see there's quite a bit of epoxy that's going in there. Now, if a lot of epoxy is going in there, that means that here you go right here. You can see that needle collapse before the epoxy squeezes out. That means there's a heck of a big gap or cavity in there that needs to be filled in, and that's probably why the spindle is wobbling around. Either it was a chip and it was put in chip, or something shrunk more than was anticipated. I'm not really too sure, but here we go. This has been dry for about 2 days, and I'm cranking on it right there, and it looks nice and solid. It's not moving, and this chair is repaired. We have to do a little bit of fill and touch up, but other than that, this part of this repair is complete. Thank you so much for watching. This is Dan, the Furniture Repairman. If you can, like and subscribe, always helps us out. Remember, every time we restore a piece or someone learns how to restore a piece from us, it doesn't go in the landfill, and one less tree gets cut down to make a new one. Those are all good things. Questions, comments, want to call me a shoemaker, want to see a video on something on how to do it, put it in the comment section below. I'll try to get back to you. You could also look us up at danthefurniturerepairman.com. You all have a good day.